Thompson Hour. Talk to us, Paul.
Hi, my name is Paul Thompson, and we're here on the beach of Fort Lauderdale. Man, it's beautiful here. We're really taking in the sun and the breeze, palm trees, the environment. We're taking in the environment. And we've developed the Cycles of Development educational process. It's a 4-step process to really assist you with understanding how to acquire your goals and dreams. And so the first step of this code process is goal setting. Goal setting. Now, I want to share with you all for a few minutes the importance of goal setting. What is so amazing, folks, is that there have been studies done pretty much every 20 years on goal setting with college graduates. And you know what they've discovered? You know what they found out every 20 years of doing these surveys? Going to the top colleges, the top universities, and studying where people are 20 years after they've graduated college. What they find is, it's not the A student. It's not the A or B student who are the people who are highly successful. Ain't that something? Do you know what they found out was the major contributor to the people who were always successful every 20 years of study, of everybody that's gone out there with the degrees and had top level of knowledge, top level of degrees? Do you know what they found consistently in every last one of them that were successful? They were goal setters. Wow. Mind-blowing. Isn't that something? Now let's talk about that. Why is that? Why is it the person who set goals have the potential to accelerate past everybody else, whether they were a C student, a D student, a B student, or an A student, where the people who had the intelligence, they didn't necessarily reach their goals. They didn't become successful. They didn't maximize their potential. Well, it's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's because what is inside of a goal is a process. And when you apply that goal to the process, you are now more than likely to accomplish that goal 100 times more than somebody who is not setting goals or who is not operating out of a plan. Now let's demonstrate this on a very practical, simple level to really show you the importance of goal setting, to have a blueprint, to have something to follow on a day-to-day basis. If you get in your car right now and you're on your way to California and you're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and you get in your car and you've never driven to California before, and you may have driven to California before 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to say, I can go east, I can go west, I can go north, I can go south. Where am I going? What direction am I going in? So you know you're going to California. That's your goal. That's your destiny. But you don't know what direction it is. I mean, you may know it's west, but which way is west? So you may know how to get in your car and start heading west. But what highway are you going to get on? What road are you going to take to get to the highway? And so the first thing you're going to need is a map. And so that's how our lives are. Our lives are like that. That you have to have a way to know where you're going. And you have to have told yourself where you're going. And now you have to have some measuring device to find out whether where you're going is working. Are you getting closer? And so goal setting becomes very fundamental in accomplishing things day to day. Now, over the years, I have talked to several people in trainings about goal setting. And I've had several people come up to me. I don't need to set goals because I have everything in my head. And that's pretty much what I would do when they would say that. I would just laugh. You know, because that means you don't understand and you don't want to understand. It's because you cannot set goals in your head and accomplish your goal. Now, how can we demonstrate that on a very simple level? All right, it's 6 a.m. Monday morning. And in your head, you have 20 things you have to do. 20 things, ladies and gentlemen, you have to do on Monday morning to accomplish this Monday. Now, even if you are gifted with a visual imprint of your mind, and you put on your schedule, 7 a.m. I'm going to do this, 8 a.m. I'm going to do that, 9 a.m. I'm going to do this, 10 a.m. I'm going to do this, 11 a.m., 12 a.m. Hey, one distraction throws that whole schedule off. And so because we live in a world and a society called life of distractions, it's nowhere in the world that you're going to stay on course unless you write it down and you know step by step what you're going to do. So when you go off course, you can come right back to the blueprint. You can come right back to the things to do list. You can come right back to the goal, and you know exactly where you left off and where you need to pick up. Your mind does not hold order. And so therefore, you cannot hold order in your mind of the things that happened from last week or last month or last year. Now, what your mind has a tremendous ability to do is when you record stuff on paper and you keep looking at it and reading it and looking at it and reading it and writing it and applying it, the mind can record it, and now it can become second nature from you taking that process from one step to the next. And so the tremendous power in goal setting is what makes the people who acquire the goals of the dream, they make it happen because they begin to engage in the process of goal setting. And this is what most people are missing from their lives. They're not engaging in universal processes. That's what makes all the difference whether something's happening in their life and something not happening in their life, is when you engage in the process. And so what we do with the Cycles of Development educational process, we teach the process. Ain't that something? We begin to help you understand that until you understand there's a process in what you're doing and you're not willing to commit to the process, you're not going to hit it. You're going to miss the mark. And you're going to miss it over and over again. Let's give you another great example. This is something I've been talking about for years. And people look at me and they say, he don't know what he's talking about. He don't have this and that. He's not there. He don't know what he's talking about. I'm going to listen to the person who has it. Most people want to become financially independent. Let's take it back. Not most people want to become financially independent. Yeah. Most people want to become financially independent, but most people don't desire to become financially independent. Right there, folks. There's a completely two difference of language. Want is a feeling. You know, I want to do this. A desire is a feeling, but it's not based on a thought process anymore. Desire means you're taking action. And so the words for some people mean the same thing. Well, I want to become materially successful. I want time freedom. But it means nothing because you're telling yourself that's a stage of communication. When you desire time freedom, when you desire financial independence, it means you're now willing to what? Engage in the process. Wow. Ain't that something? Now let's even take this further to really even give you another understanding of processes that you have to experience and go through that you arrive at a different understanding. I've been involved in marketing for at least 30 years now. What I find what the average person out there is doing is they're running around chasing income, trying to get rich, or trying to get financially secure, whatever their intent is. And what's so interesting and what's so funny is they won't engage in the real process. What they're doing is operating out of a feeling, a thought of if I can accumulate enough of this through chasing it, I'm going to be free one day. I'm going to have my financial security. I'm going to be, hey, it don't work like that, folks. It's a process that really has nothing to do with what we call money itself. It has nothing to do with that. Your time freedom, your ability to acquire material success has nothing to do with money at all. Now, I know I've said that to a few people, man, it was just mind-blowing. It hits people at a vibration. They say, man, what is he talking about? It doesn't even make sense. How could you possibly say that becoming materially successful has nothing to do with money at all? Well, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to tell you now. I'm going to leave you guessing. I'm going to leave you to think about it so you can begin to understand there's a process. Now, if you go and share that with somebody who is a multi-millionaire or billionaire and they built that wealth through a process, I guarantee you they understand what I just said. And see, so it's really about you being ready to engage in the process so that you can get a different understanding than what you're operating from. Because we can demonstrate all day long to you over and over and over again a feeling and then a higher different understanding, and one is based on a different process. It's like listening and hearing. You see, hearing, you don't have to do much because you have the ability to hear. But listening is a process. When you begin to listen, you're not going to get the same thing you got when you heard. How many of us have read a book and we read it 5 times, and the 3rd, 4th, and 5th time we got things we didn't get in the 1st and 2nd time? You see? It's because the 1st and 2nd time you were hearing what you were reading. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th time you begin to listen. You begin to penetrate to another level, and you engage in the process. It's almost like reading something, you know, a whole page of materials, and then you put it down and you say, well, what did I just read? And you weren't present. So now you got to read it again so you can engage in the process, so you can now comprehend what you really read. Wow. And so that's what we teach here at the Cycles of Development educational process. We begin to help people to understand that you are powerful beyond measure once you decide to engage in the process. Once you give your undivided attention to the process, you're never going to be the same again. I love this stuff because I'm engaged in the process. And so every day I maximize joy. Every day I maximize understanding. Every day I maximize something of a life lesson that's come to me to make me a better person. Every day I maximize touching somebody's life in a special way is because of this process. What about you? What about you, folks? What are you doing every day? What are you doing in your life every day? Are you living your maximum? Are you tapping into your pure potential? Are you being your true self? Are you enjoying life at the level in which you were intended? What about you? Put your information, your email address in the space below, and we're going to send you several hundreds of valuable free videos to get you started in the process. We'll see you then.